Welcome to the WHHI-TV Daily News. I'm Betsy McDaniel. As always, there's a lot to talk about in the Lowcountry today, so we'll get started with a few headlines. We have a couple of national political stories to start with today. First, this may or may not be good news for Nancy Mace, but from atop his precarious position in the U.S. House, Speaker Mike Johnson has now endorsed the Lowcountry Congresswoman in her bid for re-election. Mace was one of the Republicans who threw out old Speaker Kevin McCarthy 6 months ago. Mace faces two other Republican challengers in the June primary. She already has the endorsement of former President Trump. And Nikki Haley has been quiet since pulling out of the presidential race, but the Kiowa Island resident is about to step back into the public eye by doing what many high-end politicians who are not currently in office do. She is joining a think tank. The former South Carolina governor will bring her 20 years of political experience to the Hudson Institute to keep her profile up among top-level conservative thinkers and donors. Other Hudson Institute alumni include Henry Kissinger, former VP Dan Quayle, and recent Trump cabinet members Bill Barr, Mike Pompeo, and Elaine Chao. Two Beaufort County teenagers are in big trouble with the law on gun charges. 18-year-old Harrison Acker of Westbury Park in Bluffton has been caught and charged with attempted murder in an incident late last Thursday. Very few other details have been released. He avoided capture for a time by running into the woods in the area between Buck Island Road and Simmonsville Road before being captured over the weekend. And bond has been denied for 18-year-old Benjamin Seabrook IV of St. Helena Island, who's been charged with involuntary manslaughter after 6-year-old Frankie Washington was accidentally shot and killed in a Beaufort apartment in early March. Speaking of young people in trouble, someone in the courtroom could be heard saying, "No one wins in this," at the sentencing hearing for 20-year-old Terrence Wing. After hearing pleas for leniency from Wing's family and pleas for the maximum sentence from the victim's loved ones, Judge Carmen Mullen sentenced the St. Helena resident to 40 years in prison for the shooting death of then 18-year-old Trey Blackshear in Bluffton. Wing was just 16 when the shooting occurred, just before Christmas of 2019, during a marijuana deal. The incident occurred just days after Blackshear had graduated early from Hilton High, where he was a soccer star and top student. A second defendant, now 21-year-old Daquan Barnes, still faces trial. He testified in Wing's case that it was Wing that pulled the trigger during the armed robbery attempt. It is sad to say, but we should probably be surprised this doesn't happen more often. A 68-year-old woman from Anderson died after falling out of a golf cart in Latitude Margaritaville community over the weekend. Kathy Hanks was taken by EMS to the Savannah Hospital, where she later died. Police are still early in their investigation, expecting more from an autopsy and toxicology report to be done this week. Finally today, the next chapter in the Defusky Island ferry service controversy is about to come to a head, as bids have been requested for the emergency services portion of the ferry service. Most Defusky Islanders prefer the Hague Point ferry that was replaced by the Lowcountry Ferry Service's lower bid in January. Both are expected to bid on the emergency services contract. The price of Hague Point service is expected to be higher, but its track record has been more consistent and is still currently operating emergency services between the island and Hilton Head. The media sources on your screen will have more on these and other stories, and we would love for you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at WHHI-TV. And if you have an idea for a news story, we'd love to hear it, so drop us a line at news@WHHITV.com. And now here's Maria with a look at our weather.
Thanks, Betsy. Yep, so taking a look ahead, it does look like we'll have another couple days of nicer weather, but then we are going to see some storms going through our area throughout the end of the week. So taking a look at Thursday, it's going to be partly cloudy with Hilton having a high 81, a low of 66, Bluffton's have a high 85, a low of 66, and Beaufort's have a high 85 and a low of 65. The sunrise for Thursday is going to be at 6:50 and sunset's going to be at 7:55. Taking a look at the tides, high tide's going to be at 5:46 a.m. and low tide's going to be at 1:24 p.m. Taking a look into the rest of the week and into the weekend, Fridays will be partly cloudy with scattered thunder showers throughout the afternoon and going into the evening. Highs will be in the 80s, lows in the 60s. Then come Saturdays, will be cloudy again with thunderstorms and showers scattered throughout the day, but it should be clearing up by the evening. Highs in the 80s, lows in the mid-60s. And then come Sunday, again, it's going to be cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day and going into the evening. Highs are going to drop down to the upper 70s, lows in the 60s. That's it for today. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Maria. Coming up after a quick break, we have all kinds of coverage from the RBC Heritage. Don't go away.